If there was a way you could legally, morally, and ethically increase your take-home pay immediately in your very next paycheck from your employer by keeping more of what you're already earning, wouldn't you want to know how? Thank you for taking the time to listen to this very powerful and informative interview with Dr. Ron Mueller and Byron Moles. Dr. Ron Mueller published his first book, It's How Much You Keep That Counts, Not How Much You Make, over 10 years ago. Dr. Mueller's most recent book, Home Business Tax Savings Made Easy, is the only plain English guide to the tax breaks available to each and every one of us by having a home-based business. Today, Dr. Mueller lives on a 60-foot yacht in the San Diego harbor called Home Office, and he has become the foremost home-based business tax expert in the country. Byron Moles is the consummate entrepreneur. He started his first company at the age of 16, and it's still in operation today. He has owned and operated successful businesses over the past 24 years, and over the past 6 years, Byron has become one of the top income earners in the home-based business arena. From his current home-based business, Byron has an international organization where he is leading literally thousands and thousands of people all over the world on the path to financial freedom. Let's listen in on a conversation between Dr. Ron Mueller and Byron Moles as they discuss the powerful tax benefits of a home-based business.
So Ron, first I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule today to sit down with me and kind of review some of the reasons why someone would want to own a home-based business and what some of the tax advantages to owning that business would be. I guess the first question I need to ask you is, what should a W-2 employee know?
Somebody who has a 9-to-5 job needs to realize that they are in the most highly taxed category in America. There is no other category of taxpayer that pays more money than a W-2 employee. And the only way to change that is to also have a part-time home-based business.
You know, Ron, being self-employed my whole life, I've always understood that there were huge tax advantages to owning your own business. And owning a home-based business sounds like it has even greater tax advantages. What are some of the different ways that employees are taxed versus somebody who has a home-based business?
Well, an employee is someone who gets a W-2 at the end of the year. And W-2 employees get very few tax deductions. However, that same employee, if they have a home-based business, even a part-time home-based business, that fact alone could qualify them for a lot of tax deductions. Deductions they can use to offset any source of income, including their W-2 income.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Ron, you know, I have a lot of friends that work either from their home or out of their home part-time. I guess the next question would be, what exactly qualifies a business as a home-based business?
A home-based business is any business where the primary administration or management takes place in the home. That's kind of a quote from the tax code. What's that really mean? What's meant by primary administration and management? Well, for example, if your home-based business is network marketing, which is the most popular category of home-based businesses, administration and management, that means like calling prospects on your cell phone, listening to teleconference training calls, scheduling business briefings, coordinating meetings with your team, things like that, even filling out deposit slips for the commission and bonus checks that show up in your mailbox. Those kinds of activities are considered administration or management. So if you do just those kinds of things from your home, you're considered to have a home-based business for tax purposes.
Ron, you know, sometimes you say the word taxes and you see fear in folks' eyes. I guess the question that I'd want to know is, did Congress really approve these tax deductions?
Well, yeah, these were approved by Congress intentionally. In fact, when I first started learning about this, I thought these may be some tax deductions some clever lawyer figured out how to apply to home-based business owners. But as I did my research, I realized Congress passed these tax breaks specifically for the purpose of encouraging American taxpayers to start a home-based business and to reward them for continuing to run their home-based business. So the answer is yes, Congress did pass these specifically for home-based business owners because it's good for the economy. It provides a partial safety net for our economy. What that means is that if taxpayers become unemployed, let's say a big company goes out of business or they export their business overseas or they close a business or something, and a lot of people are unemployed, that causes devastation to our economy. But if those people could all go home and ramp up a part-time business to full-time, it would help our economy stay strong. That's why Congress passed these tax breaks specifically for home business owners.
You know, Ron, when you say home-based businesses and tax deductions, most people probably don't realize how big those tax deductions could be. For the average person, is it a big enough amount that people are actually going to see a savings in their taxes at the end of the year?
Well, yeah, that's because the deductions from a home-based business can apply to any source of income for the taxpayer, not just the home-based business. It could be your W-2 income, retirement income, investment income, any source of income. These deductions are large enough they will result in most cases in new additional tax refunds in the amount of $3,000 to $6,000 a year. That's year after year, and that could begin this year.
Wow, that is significant, Ron. With the state of the economy the way it is today, I know there's a lot of folks out there that are sitting there thinking, I just don't have enough money to start this home-based business. What do we say to those folks?
That's a great question, and Congress actually addressed that when they passed these tax breaks for home business owners. They said we can't make people wait till April 15th of the following year to get a tax refund to pay for the cost of their business because they have expenses from month to month to month. So what they did was they passed legislation that said that any taxpayer who has a change in their tax circumstances, for example, you're learning about additional tax deductions you didn't qualify for before, can go to their payroll office and reduce the amount of money being withheld from each of their paycheck for taxes. That puts more money in their take-home pay. That can be done by any taxpayer whenever they have a change in their tax circumstance. The employer is required to allow them to make that change. And my favorite part is the employer is then required to implement that change as of the very next pay period. That means if you go into your payroll office tomorrow and change a form called a W-4 to have less money taken out of your paycheck for taxes, your very next paycheck will have more money in it than the paychecks before. And that'll continue until you change it again.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, Ron. So I guess let's get specific now. What are some of the biggest tax advantages that home-based business owners can qualify for?
Well, for starters, a home-based business owner can claim tax deductions for business use of their own home. That means if you have areas of your house or condo or apartment that are used only for business, or used only for product samples or promotional materials, or used as a home office, the percentage of your home that's used exclusively for business is a percentage you can write off of your rent and utilities and repairs and insurance. A portion of all those overhead expenses become tax-deductible business expenses. When you begin converting some of your personal expenses into tax-deductible business expenses, every $1,000 of personal expense you convert to a business expense is going to put about $300 extra cash in your pocket. That's an additional tax refunds. And normally, we're able to help people convert thousands of dollars worth of personal expenses into business expenses just by using a portion of their home on an exclusive basis for their business. The shorthand term for this tax deduction is the home office deduction. And that used to have serious problems associated with it. So a lot of people didn't take that deduction. A lot of tax pros, in fact, advised their taxpayers not to. But what many people don't know is Congress has fixed literally every single problem with that deduction. In fact, it's now more risky to not take the deduction than it is to take the deduction. It's absolutely a solid deduction now, and that's one of the biggest ones that everyone with a home-based business can and should qualify for.
Yeah, I know that's one of the largest tax deductions Karen and I have qualified for every year for the last 6 years. Just off the top of your head, what are some of the other large deductions one that has a home-based business would qualify for?